Assalamu alaikum and hi again. It's me, Dr. Rasul Sharif, and welcome you again into the story of the Middle East or the history, the exciting history of the Middle East. I hope that you had enjoyed episode 7 about who are the Arabs and gave you an idea about the Arab world and the Arab origins. And they are descendants of Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, like everybody else. And they are descendants of their two ancestors, Qahtan, the Arab who spoke Arabic, so the father of the true Arabs, and Adnan, descendant of Ishmael, Prophet Ishmael, peace be upon him, and he is the father of the Arabized Arabs. Those people learned Arabic. And so we carry on. I hope that you had watched this and enjoyed it. You should before watching episode 8. Now I'll carry on. So follow me in story number 8. Again, who are the Arabs? I'll be talking about their origins again, about where did they come from. Historians agree that the Arabs are three types in history. There are three types. Who are they? Type 1, Arabs type 1, they call them the vanished Arabs, disappeared. Those as mentioned in the Quran, even in the Bible and the Torah, they were evil people, pagan idol worshippers, and they rejected the message of the God, the Prophet Saleh. They rejected his message. So God destroyed them, and then you can see their ruins here in the northern of Saudi Arabia, Al-Ula. It's their ruins there. So as they rejected God, they were destroyed. Historians believe they spoke Arabic, and they were Arabs, but they vanished, disappeared, and they are mentioned in the Quran. Let's talk about Arabs type 2, the Arabs. These are true Arabs who came from Arabian Happy Felix, from Yemen, after the collapse of Marib Dam in 12th century BCE. And they are descendants of Yarub bin Qahtan, if you remember, the son of Qahtan bin Sam bin Nuh, the first to speak Arabic after the vanished Arabs. So they are called the Arabs. I mean the true Arabs. Arabs type 3 are the Arabized Arabs. Now, for you to know who the Arabized Arabs, we need to know the story of Abraham, Prophet Abraham, or Ibrahim, the father of prophets. He is very important in the three religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And those Arabized Arabs, they entered the Arabia Peninsula later, and they are descendants of the Prophet Ismail, son of Abraham, who came from Mesopotamia. If you remember my story, 2nd millennium BCE, they spoke the language of Babylonian, Sumer, and historians do not know very much. They think it could be a Semitic language they spoke. Maybe it was close to Arabic. So those did not speak Arabic. So these are the Adnanites that I've just mentioned. So we call them the Arabized Arabs. They became Arabs as they learned Arabic. For you to understand the history of the Arabs, you need to know the story of Abraham. The story of Abraham, this is one of the most important events in the Arabic history that shaped now. It happened around 2000 BCE. It's the story of Abraham migrating from Babylon. Abraham journey, you need to know Abraham journey. While Abraham was in Babylon, in Ur, he was calling people to stop worshipping idols and worship the true God. But people did not like what he was talking about, especially their king Namrud, or Nimrud in English. But in our language, he is Namrud. He was a rebellious, strong, authoritarian king, and he was so powerful that he challenged God, he hated Ibrahim and everyone. Even the word Namrud in our dialect, it means someone who is rebellious. Sometimes when I was a boy and wouldn't eat something or didn't want to do my homework and challenge my mother, she would tell me, oh, you are Namrud today. Mutanamrud, you are Namrud. So, Abraham, as I said, was calling people to worship the true God, the only God, but they did not pay attention to him. They ignored him. And one day the king called Ibrahim for a debate. So, here is a debate between Abraham and the king. Abraham said, my Lord is he who gives life and death, Abraham said. Namrud said, I give life and death. I can bring person from street and have him executed, and can grant my pardon to a person who was sentenced to death and save his life. So, I can give life and death. Then Abraham said, okay. The second question, well, my Lord Allah makes the sun rise from the east. Can you make it rise from the west? At this point, the king was confused. He was beaten at his own game, on his own territory, in front of his own people. Ibrahim left him there speechless and went back to his important mission, calling people to worship the one and only God, but Namrud ordered him to be thrown into fire. And Ibrahim was thrown into fire but was saved by God, according to the story in the Quran. Then he was ordered to leave Babylonia or to Canaan, the land to leave to Canaan. So this is the journey of Abraham, peace be upon him. You should follow the red line. So he left Ur, let's say this 2000 BC, and he went north into Mesopotamia, perhaps southern Turkey to Haran, down to Syria. We follow the red line, and he continued his journey until he came to Hebron in Canaan. Palestine nowadays, Hebron, Al-Khalil, where he bought a house, and he lived with Canaanites, were very peaceful people. After some years, Canaan didn't receive enough rainfall, and there was a drought, and people migrated to Egypt. Abraham migrated to Egypt there with his wife Sarah. Sarai was a very beautiful lady, and then the pharaohs want to marry her, but God sent his wrath at them, and then the pharaoh said, okay, go away, take your wife and go away. They were so scared, and he said, okay, take this concubine with you. He gave him a lady, said, take this lady as well. So they gave him an Egyptian lady. Then Abraham left Egypt, went back to Hebron with Sarai and another woman, a concubine or a servant whose name was Hajar. Then the story goes on. Sarah was barren, didn't give children. She said to him, why didn't you marry Hajar? And he did. And they gave birth to Ishmael in English, Prophet Ismail. Sometime later, Sarah got jealous, and we don't know. He was ordered by God to take Ishmael and Hagar down to a place in nowadays Saudi Arabia called Mecca. It was Becca at the time. And he left them here. Abraham left Ishmael and his mother Hagar here in Mecca and went back. This is, we believe, ordered from God. So this is a story is very important to know. And then, so while, as the story of Hagar, as he left her in Becca, in that place, there was nothing. And she ran out looking, she ran out of water, and she was looking for water. She shuttled between two hills 7 times. But then she came back where Ismail, a baby, was left, and she could see water gushing from the land. And she said, Zum, 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 in her Egyptian language, which means, and now we call it Zamzam water. At that time, a caravan, a big caravan or a big tribe, Jurhum, appeared, and they came to her and they settled with her, used water, and they respected her. Then this is the beginning of the Arabized Arab. Ismail married from Jurhum, the Arabic tribe, migrating from Yemen, and he learned their language. So this is the beginning of the Arabized Arab, and this is mentioned in the Quran when Abraham was ordered to leave them there, and this is the verse from the Quran. Abraham and Ishmael rebuilt the Kaaba. It's believed, if you see people every year around 3 million people make the pilgrimage to this place. Kaaba was or had been built by Adam and then rebuilt by Ismail and his father, and they were monotheistic, and people were ordered to do the pilgrimage. And so Jurhum, the tribe, protected Kaaba in the beginning and Zamzam. Then Jurhum was defeated by another tribe, Khuza'a. When Khuza'a took over, they became monotheistic. They filled the Kaaba with idols. So they became idol worshippers, and monotheism was finished. Then people entered into the age of ignorance, which we call Jahiliyyah. It was tribal authority. People lived under tribal authority. It was anarchy. There was constant tribal wars. They were raiding each other. They were fighting for water, grass, for anything, for vendetta. It was the law of the powerful, blind obedience to the tribe. They were polytheistic. Islam called them pagans. An example of tribal wars like Harb al-Basus, a war which lasted for 40 years because of a woman called Basus. You can read about that. Another war that took place between the tribes in the age of ignorance, which is equal to Dark Ages in Europe. A war was called Dahis wal Ghabra, and these are the names of two horses. The war which lasted for 40 years. Imagine, for 40 years because of two horses. One beat the other, one won the race, the other accused him of cheating and so on. And there was a grinding war that carried on for 40 years. So the Arabs were living in a constant state of war, the tribes raiding each other, they didn't trust each other. And the only law was the law of the tribe and their allegiance to the tribe. It was the law of the jungle, and they were marrying women, no limit to the numbers. They were just fighting each other just to display their fighting skills. This is the situation in the Arabian Peninsula before Islam came. My friends, I hope you have enjoyed episode 8. This is the end of episode 8. That given you an idea about the origin of the Arabs and the situation of the Arabian Peninsula before Islam. I hope you carry on, follow me in episode 9. We will continue telling the story of the Arabs, where they came from. See you in episode 9. Bye.